This video is brought to you by patreon.com/worsttake. Get access to exclusive live streams and Discord servers, on-screen shoutouts, and early access to some videos when you join now. Help make sure that we can continue to make content like this by supporting the Patreon. Links are in the description down below. What's up and welcome to QnA, the show I take your questions from YouTube and Twitter and answer them here on video format. Make sure you're subscribed and notified so you can get the question prompt that comes up on Fridays. That being said, let's jump into the questions. Darius Tony says, hey Q, do you get excited the same way for Brown seasons that you used to now that you follow the team professionally? I felt recently that this is the most excited I've been for a Brown season. I wonder if somebody like you who covers the team 24/7 feels similarly of it. It's more rationale. Now, I like to make this distinction, and it's not like to separate myself from Browns fans or anything like that, because I am a Browns fan. But I'm also a fan of football first, right? Like, I'm a fan of football more than I'm a fan of any individual team, college or professional. So I get excited just because football is on. I get excited to watch the XFL. I get excited to watch the NCAA. I get excited to watch the NFL. And since the Browns are the team that I know the most about, and I have the most theories about, and I have the most to say about, I get excited to watch them. It has not changed my my excitement level for the team covering them. It's just a different relationship with the team. You know, it's a more analytical relationship of the team. But honestly, I've always had a more analytical approach or a more analyst approach to the Browns because, again, I love football more than I love an individual team. And that love of football allows me demands that I be fair and honest about what it is that I'm watching, right? When you love football, you're not going to sit here and tell yourself egregious lies about the game in order to justify your fandom. You're going to look at the game for what it is. Understand that you have an allegiance to this team that is unnatural because you ain't letting go. Like, there ain't nothing the Browns can do to make me not watch them. But also, it's like a love and a respect for the game. So, yeah, I still get excited. I love football. I love NFL football. I love college football. And I watch the Browns the most, and I want to see them be successful. So yeah, it's not really that different for me. I don't feel like I have to separate my fandom from what I do here because me personally, I've always been able to be good at compartmentalizing. Hey, this is my enjoyment of the team and this is me being a fan and wanting things to work out. But also, like, I'm not going to ignore the blatant realities that's in front of me, right? In order to justify it. There will be times where I get excited, but like, I'll tell you, for everything I'm excited about, right? Last year I was excited about the defense. I literally told you everything that I thought that they could do with the defense structurally on the football field to make that happen. And I don't think I was wrong about that. I just think they just didn't end up doing anything that I wanted. So they ended up not being that good. Not because I wasn't the defensive coordinator or anything like that, just because the ideals did not mesh for what the roster was. So yeah, you know, do I get excited? Of course. Am I a fan? Of course. But I also make it a point to back up any excitement that I have with evidence and back up any hesitation I have about certain players or teams or coaches with evidence as well. So that's kind of my approach to it. Martin Cesar says, hey Q, loved your last appearance on AFC North Talk. Do you think the Browns will add more to the defensive line or try to get another starter in the draft or remaining free agent pool? Yeah, they'll probably get some more. I think they'll probably get some more. I don't know how much more, and I don't know if they're going to get like names that we know, but they'll probably get more. Maybe Frank Clark is a guy that they have their eye on. Maybe Justin Houston, somewhere in that pool. I think they'll probably get another edge rusher. Jay Terrace says, not sure if you're aware, but there's been a ton of JOK slander. There were times he got exposed last season, but I hope with better defensive tackle play, he will be better. Also, I think he may carve out a special role for him. What are your thoughts on this? I think we're making, like, I don't know what the JOK slander is. Like, I guess he's the the person of the day on Brown's Twitter. Like, it seems like every month they pick a new person to be mad at. You know, it was Anthony Schwartz, then it was Jed Wills, and then it was him and them and them. And there's just always somebody that everybody's upset about. Nick Chubb being traded, right? Like, there's always something going on. I haven't really heard or seen any of it, to be honest with you, but I wouldn't be surprised. He didn't have a great year last year, but I think it's important to remember, like, things went really wrong for him off the field this year. You know, he lost his brother. He had a lot of stuff going on in his life. And as somebody who has lost a close family member, like, it's hard to focus on your job when something like that catastrophic happens to you. Like, I couldn't imagine what the quality of my videos would be like if I lost a brother or sister in the middle of the season. Like, I can't guarantee that the level and quality of the work would be the same and the focus on the work would be the same, because I have no idea who I would be in that situation, because I hope to never be in that situation, right? That's the situation that JOK was in last year. I think that's a good reason. I think that's a good explanation of why he just didn't play that well last year. He had injuries, got hurt. He had a whole lot of stuff going on off the field. These things matter, right? And this is why I think Flemlo makes some of the best football videos on the platform, because he's somebody who has a keen understanding of that. The stuff that the person who plays the game is going through, that really matters. And oftentimes you can see trends to where stuff goes horribly wrong in somebody's life and their play goes down, because we don't look at football like what it is for these guys who play it. It's their job. How good at your job are you going to be when you're going through something that catastrophic? I know I would be worse at my job if I went through something that catastrophic. Like, would you be great at your job going through something? Like, there's some people who have tragedy come to them and they do great at their job because they can focus on it and that's their coping mechanism, and that's fine. But some people, they ain't like that. And how he chose to grieve and what that affected, that ain't none of my business. So I really think that, you know, like, I wait till this year to make a definitive judgment on JOK, because I think there were some circumstances about what he was going through mentally last year and physically that really hindered my ability to make an analysis of him, especially since what his tape looked like this year versus last year looks so drastically different, right? So that's my thoughts on that whole thing. I think we need to give him some grace on that. Alex DeMar says, what's your opinion on the linebacker room as it currently stands? Seems like a lot of people are having issues with JOK for one reason or another. I don't know what in the world happened between JOK and some of the fans here, but again, I would extend some grace, right? Because this is a man who's been through a lot, and there's going to be the fake tough guy in the comment section that's going to bowl through here and be like, well, you know, a real man wouldn't feel anything, and push up some stuff about, you know, some overly tough guy rhetoric. And that's usually of people who would not do well in that situation because they're not even equipped to handle that kind of tragedy. So again, you know, the man lost his brother. He went through a lot last year, went through a lot physically, went through a lot mentally. That's going to have his effect on his ability to play football. That's going to have an effect on anybody's ability, again, to go to work. Straight up. And if you think that that's not manly because it affected him, if you think that that's not masculine or makes him soft because of that, and I don't know if that's the rhetoric going around, but if that's the rhetoric going around, you're not somebody I can respect. You know, if you're saying that about JOK, that because he lost his brother, that's not a good reason for him not to give 110%. Like, come on now. Extend some grace, show some love. The man went through tragedy last year. We'll see what he is this year, right? That doesn't 100% excuse him for what he did on the field. He has to answer. He's not going to get a big contract just because of something tragic happened in his life. But, you know, like, damn, let the man play football this year and then make a judgment. That's all I'm asking. We ain't got to do this right now. You know, and again, there's two people who asked the question. I think they were being respectful about it. I'm talking about hypothetically whatever's going on with the JOK thing, or why people are pointing this out now. Ian says, hey, Q, with the addition of Moore and the possibility that the Browns could add another wide receiver during the draft, what do you think it means for a guy like David Bell and Michael Woods and Anthony Schwartz? Is a lost cause because AB has been reluctant on his own draft picks. I don't really think it has much to do with those guys. They're going to have more wide receivers on the roster this year because they're going to be spread out more often. I think that's really what it has to do. I think those two players are safe. My man here says, with the season being Deshaun Watson's first full season with the Browns, what would you consider a successful season and what would you consider a failure in Stefanski's job on the line? You make the playoffs, everybody going to be cool. If you don't make the playoffs, everybody going to be mad. That's the line. That's the line. It's real simple. There's nothing like if you make the playoffs. Like if you make the playoffs, I don't think anybody's going to be in trouble for that. If you don't make the playoffs, I think people are going to be in trouble for that. Isaac Link says, if he's not going to be utilized in the slot next year, how would the Browns utilize Greg Newsom? Feels like a weird spot for a talented player to step inside. Well, the person in the weird spot is Martin Emerson. Greg Newsom will go back to playing outside corner. Like that's what he should go back to doing because he's excellent at it. But like Martin Emerson's the one in the weird spot. And I know like people have a more favorable feeling of Martin Emerson because he did not have to play slot last year. But Greg is the better outside corner. He's the more capable outside corner. He's the more athletic outside corner. He's the more versatile outside corner. He's just the better outside corner. But that's fine because you can have these two coexist. Like the ideal that you can only have Greg Newsom or Martin Emerson is one that I find myself disagreeing with more and more as every day goes by, because you can have Greg handle some responsibilities on the outside, but then you can also move him inside for a couple plays here. You can have Martin Emerson handle some responsibilities on the outside and inside, right? There is use in a rotational corner. Like corners are not offensive linemen to where they play every snap. Corners switch out. So there's use for a rotational defensive back. I don't think it's a binary if you start this guy, that. It's not quarterback. You know what I mean? Where only one guy can start. You can rotate these guys. You'll be all right. You know what I mean? I think we're making too much of that log jam. I don't think it's that deep. Joshua Horton says, kind of an elephant in the room, but who's playing slot corner? Emerson isn't quick enough. Newsom isn't against it entirely. Do you think... Here's the thing with slot corner, man. It's not that big of a deal. Like you can get the best slot corners are day 3 draft picks or undrafted guys. It's not a mistake. That's usually who you fill that position with. So the fact that we don't have a star to be the slot corner, that's fine. Most teams don't. We'll find somebody. That's what training camp is for. Maybe it'll be AJ Green. Maybe it'll be somebody we draft. Maybe it'll be some free agent dude that we have in here. Maybe Sean Jolly comes back and play. Like, it can be anybody that plays the slot, and that's okay. I think the experiment on putting good corners in the slot is one that has ended horrible for a lot of teams. Look at Jalen Ramsey. Look at Greg Newsom last year. The slot corner position is one that could be filled with a day 3 pick or somebody off the street. Like it's been done before. It's usually how it's done before. Again, look at the best slot corners in the NFL on Pro Football Focus. They're all undrafted. Mike Hilton, he's undrafted. Like you can find these guys later in the draft. You'll be all right. I don't think it's that serious of a need. But that's it for the Q&A. Y'all have a great day. Have an even better night.